Welcome, everybody. We are lucky enough to have Fred Van Lente on with us today. This comes out of, where did we meet? At New York Comic Con or?
Probably.
New York Comic Con.
Based on your accent.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I was at Baltimore too. So if you were at Baltimore,
oh, fantastic! Yeah, I was at Baltimore.
It's probably Baltimore because it was much easier to get people to talk to at Baltimore than New York.
True.
Baltimore's one of my favorites, and it's so nice there. So you are working overtime right now. You have a number of series at Dynamite. You are working on something for Valiant. That's over though. Harbinger.
No, still going. Yes, I am working on it, but
yes.
We're about to put the fourth issue to bed, so
okay.
It's still chugging along.
And you have your own book out. The Future Is
correct. Asterisks.
Yes, we could say it. It's we don't censor on here. So,
well, what's fun about that series is that that series. So I missed New York Comic Con this year actually because I was at.
We were in Baltimore then. It was Baltimore.
Fair enough. Yeah, very cool. Because I was actually at an information security conference in Deadwood, South Dakota.
Okay.
Put on by the fine folks at Black Hills, which are the publishers of The Future Is.
Okay.
And so their whole deal is to get comic readers into hacking and hackers into comics. And so what's fun about that series is that the I just call it The Future Is, but you see on the H cover it says The Future Is, and there's asterisk.
Right. What is that? What are those asterisks?
Well, most people, including my wife, who I can't get to say it any other way, assume it's something naughty.
Right.
But what's cool is that the guys at Black Hills / Recca Comics, their comics arm, spell it backwards.
Right.
There's a password to each issue, and they actually have an online leaderboard for people to figure out all the capture the flag challenges and other hacking challenges that are actually hidden in each issue. The main one is the title is actually different every issue.
Okay.
So the asterisk, what's under the asterisk changes every issue, and part of your challenge, if you choose, you can just read it and enjoy a great comic. And
where can people find it? Where can they go and do the challenge?
Comic book shops.
Okay.
The challenges are, if there's a URL challenge, it's embedded in the comic. So it's all in the comic. But each issue, the 6-character password or secret word, like Pee-wee used to in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I do.
Is different. So like our first issue was about it was a heist on the moon, right? The series is basically Mission Impossible meets Black Mirror. It's a bunch of white hat hackers saving people from technological nightmares in the near future. And our first issue, which was over 80 pages long for the low price of 12 something or other, was about them busting a human trafficking ring on a casino on the moon. And so I don't think this is a spoiler. So the first issue's asterisks keyword was lunar or something like that. I guess lunar is only 5 letters, so it would have to be something else, but something like that, right? And it's very cool. I hope people check it out. The 8th issue comes out this month, along with the paperback that has the first 7 issues in it.
And the codes are still in there too, so you could still do the codes if you buy paper.
Yeah, exactly. And the new trade, they really want people to read this, so it's a fantastic value. It's $9.99.
When does it come out?
I believe it comes out tomorrow from when we're taping. It's December 17th.
December 17th it's out. This will add after that, so it will be out already. So go to your local comic shop and demand it. Don't ask for it. Demand it.
The 8th issue, which starts the new arc, is also out.
Very good. And you are working on these 2 titles for Dynamite, right?
Yes, having a great time with both of those.
This one, let's talk about this one first. Sure. This has a lot of characters in it.
It does.
So how hard is that to manage with all of, basically it's the females at Dynamite is what I'm getting so far, right? It's the females at Dynamite fighting a zombie horde.
Exactly. And this is my 4th series of Dynamite series. And I guess by this point, because it's my 4th one, the answer to your question is it's not hard at all.
Okay, no, that's good.
I'm used to it by now. So this is like, yeah, it's funny. I figured it out. I did like 20 issues of Marvel Zombies back at Marvel, and I've done more now of Dynamite. I think with this series, I've finally surpassed my Marvel Zombies total.
So you write a lot of zombies, is what you're saying?
I do. I do. When I was a lad dreaming of being a comics writer, I'm not sure zombies is where I would have landed. Right. This would have been one of my specialties, but life is what happens when
that's right. You take what you can get in life and you run with it.
That's right.
As much as you can. So how about this one? Because a little bit different. They're somewhat different.
Yes. So Dynamite Blood Red is a brand new sort of envisioning of that series where, unlike the previous 3 series were all connected, this is a new starting point. And it's sort of set in another alternate reality that's kind of more noir influence. So it's like it's set in a place called Sunset City, which is Los Angeles after it's walled itself in during the zombie plague. And I tried to use it's not hard using all the Dynamite female characters since they tend to be the best ones.
So they are.
It's not.
Wait, he's not a female. Hold on.
Well, we're getting him next. He's not in Dynamite Blood Red, actually.
I know. I'm reading both, so I'm a fan. So that's
fantastic.
I'm reading both. I have a bunch of stuff to go through with you.
Oh, so hey.
There you go.
Then I will.
And it's all over the place. It ranges all over the place. Then.
But
no, we take our time.
But so you've got Vampirella, you've got Deja Thoris, you've got Red Sonja.
Right.
You have a bunch of the female Project Superpowers characters like Rocket Girl. You have a bunch of the Chaos characters like Hell and Chastity and Purgatory. And part of this, just because I recognized all the great female characters at Dynamite, I thought, let's do something different with the zombie apocalypse. What if the zombie disease, virus, whatever, only affected men? So only men can become zombies, right? However, women, even though they can't become zombies, they can become lunch. So they're very highly motivated to fight the zombies. So they find they might have a cure, possible of a cure on their hands. So they start in a dangerous cross-country journey, and hence the series.
It's been enjoyable. 3rd issue came out last week, if I remember correctly.
Great.
I believe I have it in my pile of new stuff over on the side here. It's been enjoyable. Really, really enjoying it.
Really, really, I'm good. Marco Finnegan's doing a great job with the art too.
Yeah,
perfect for the sort of noir situation.
Now they come to you with this, or you pitch it as an idea?
I actually took over the first series. I recorded the first issue with the great Declan Shaveley, who had to drop out of the series.
We had him on about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, Deck is awesome. And he used to live in Brooklyn, which is where I live. So we used to be drinking buddies, which is that's always nice. But no, they came up with their sort of idea, but as the Marvel Zombies guys, so that was kind of an obvious, natural fit, which was nice. And so the first series, so here's a little behind the scenes stuff. So a lot of what Dynamite does, they own a bunch of characters, like they own Vampirella outright, they own most of the cast characters outright. They have to license Red Sonja, and then another, I don't know if I'm not supposed to tell the story, but I'll tell it to you anyway. Okay. Originally, when Deck was writing it, Green Hornet was one of the heroes, and Kato were one of the heroes in the zombie apocalypse. And for whatever reason, the owners of Green Arrow balked at this.
You don't want them fighting zombies.
They did not want them involved in the zombie thing, so I had to replace him with another hero, and so I replaced him with Peter Cannon Thunderbolt.
Okay.
And so Peter Cannon was a significant hero for the first few series, first few issues. And as a result of the success of Dynamite, I was asked to reinterpret the character in a new series, and that's what the current Cannon Thunderbolt is.
This one. This is second issue came in, if I remember correctly. If I remember my pull list.
It's a scene from the second issue, at least. I don't know if that's the literal second issue. But so and Jonathan Lau just crushed it on art. The artist.
It's fantastic. We actually have an agreement with Dynamite. We do a lot of interviews with their creators, and this didn't come out of that. This came out of just meeting you in person. And I loved how many variant covers you guys do. It's so nice to see so much different art coming in where you guys are. Yeah. Dynamite's the top of the variant cover hill.
Yes,
so.
They do like their variant covers.
They do.
Sales. Some people
100%. Why not? Why not do it if it's driving sales? So many different ones. Now you're working at Dynamite. You've worked at Marvel many, many times.
Yep.
You've Marvel Zombies, Deadpool, some character I'm very fond of.
Yep. There you go. You got my signature on that and everything.
That's from Baltimore Comic Con. That's how we started talking.
Okay, fair enough.
And
nice.
So he has all that series, and
lovely. Yeah, that was great fun.
This series,
sure, Power Man, Victor Alvarez.
There you go. Iron Fist is my favorite, so that's okay. The hat.
Oh,
so that's
cool. Okay.
What having you come on is good, is a big thing for me, because I'm a big fan of that series, and your Marvel stuff has been fantastic over the years. You have anything coming up with them?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
The last, although what's funny is the last artist on the last series I did for Marvel, we have a creator-owned thing coming out next year, which I'm very excited about.
Really?
I will come back on to talk.
100%, we would want you back on. So what was your favorite title to write at Marvel? You did something. You did an X-Men Noir. You did the Power Man Iron Fist.
Yeah, and I got to write the Amazing Spider-Man, which was my favorite title from a kid. So that was a real bucket list item. Honestly, I guess I had a couple favorites. I liked reinventing sort of the lesser known characters, which was always something I admired from guys like Grant Morrison and Alan Moore, who got the Z-list characters, kind of try to uplift them. I wasn't as successful as they were, but I really enjoyed doing Incredible Hercules with Greg Pak. That's really the series that kind of put me on the map, kind of launched my career. I was just talking with a fan this morning on Blue Sky about Taskmaster. I did a Taskmaster series. It's funny. He said, this isn't on your bibliography on your Wikipedia page. And I was like, well, that's strange because fans love that series. It's
not.
I hear about it all the time. What else? So I love the Modocs 11 series, supervillain team up, which was cool because I got to I have something named after me in the MCU now in the Modoc series.
They can't ever take that away from you, so that's there forever.
Take that, Tony Stark. So I loved that. So those are probably my three favorites. I did enjoy working on Spider-Man, but that's a very stressful character to have to deal with because the fans are so crazy.
Oh yeah, and you have to do that right, or you get yelled at.
Oh yeah.
But you created a new Power Man too, so that's.
I did, yeah. No, that was fun. They again brought, typically Marvel tends to bring stuff to you.
Right.
They wanted a new Power Man. They wanted a younger guy. They wanted to make him even younger than Victor ends up being in the book. And I was like, no. Let's make him like a teenager. They wanted him to be like 12. And because they thought it was hilarious. Little kid is running around punching things, saying, I'm Power Man. And I'm like, let's not make it a total joke. And that was cool. I saw that in the Luke Cage series, Specs. Is it Shades? Specs or Shades? Anyway, Power Man is the what's that?
It's the villain, right?
Yeah, the villain who's his father.
Yeah, I don't remember. Now you got me questioning it.
I saw they gave him the last name Alvarez in the Luke Cage Netflix show, but I'm like, he didn't have that. That was his mother's last name, so they just scanned the comics briefly. But anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, the Power Man was great fun, and that was one of the early. I think that was the first Marvel work by Mahmoud Asrar, who is now a superstar. And you can see that
series is fantastic.
Well, you can see that even from that series. His design, I could see that when I saw the character design of Victor. It was just like he just blew everything away, And
they really haven't used that character in some time either, Victor Alvarez.
Yeah, I think Jim Zub used him in one of his Avengers books, if I remember correctly. That was maybe the last time. They used him. I'm sort of used to that. Although if I had known that I would get money and stuff from characters I read from Marvel, I'm not going to lie, I would have created many.
No, you said before,
they already have all these great characters lying around. I need to make up stuff. Also, it's work for hire. I don't own it.
Just do whatever I want. You said earlier you're a big Spider-Man fan. So what was your journey into comic books? You read comics as a kid.
Oh yeah.
How did you come about making this into a career?
Well, I grew up in a small town in Ohio, Chagrin Falls, Ohio, not a made-up an actual place. Ironically, I'm only the second most famous comics person to come from Chagrin Falls, Ohio, because that's where Bill Watterson and lived for many, many years and drew Calvin and Hobbes there. At some point, I'll be the third most famous. I don't know. But to me, like, it just seemed like you'd moved to New York, and even as a kid, you could see like the same like dozen writers were like moving back and forth through Marvel and DC, and they kind of had a lock on the market. So I was like, I don't see how I'm going to make that as a career. So I went to school for film and ended up meeting up with a bunch of guys in the illustration department, who were, among other things, I say they're studying to be comics artists, and they're like, shut up. We're doing more than just comics. It's like, okay, not in the face. But they're very touchy about that. But a bunch of us, one of them, in fact, Steve Ellis, actually got work on Iron Man and Spider-Woman while he was still an undergraduate. He was a year ahead of me. We did comics together, and we ended up moving into New York City together to sort of break into the industry. Steve had basically already broken into at that point. But Steve and I did an independent crime book called The Silencers that came out in 2003 that nobody read. We got this glowing review in Wizard magazine, back when Wizard magazine was.
I miss Wizard magazine.
I miss them jump-starting my career.
Yeah.
Because they ended up, Marvel ended up reading that review, and so that's how I got my first ever Marvel gig. In fact, if you can see over what is to you my right shoulder, but it's actually my left shoulder, you can see a poster of the re-released hard graphic edition of The Silencers that Comic Experience Press did not so long ago. And then I also met Ryan Dunlavey, who we did a book called Action Philosophers together, and many, many, many books since then.
How did that come about? Philosophers, Action. How did that?
So
that's independently. You printed on your own, right? Yeah,
we did. We got a Xeric grant thanks to Peter Laird's Xeric Foundation back when they were giving grants for comic self-publishers. And yeah, it just became a hit. It was surprised everybody, including us, that it was a hit. We did a funny biography we're trying to get an anthology at Small Press Expo down in Bethesda, Maryland. Used to do a anthology to benefit the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. And so we pitched them. We did a short story about Friedrich Nietzsche that was this obnoxious, funny Friedrich Nietzsche biography, the gag of which was this was the comic you were going to get with your Friedrich Nietzsche action figure, hence the term Action Philosophers.
Right.
And to our shock, everybody seemed to really dig it, so we did the whole series, and we were kind of off to the races, and we never stopped. We're still.
It's a huge hit. I mean,
money wise,
no, but
like a good part time at McDonald's income. But that's more than a lot of independent comics creators can do, and that's more than a lot of philosophers can do.
Good point.
But we're still doing it. We do nonfiction comics for the New York City.
But what inspired it? Like, what inspired you to do nonfiction comics like that?
I had been doing with Steve Ellis actually for the SPX parodies of different kinds of comics. Okay. So one of the things we did, Steve and I did, was, if you know the Jack Chick, the religious tract pamphlets that are about yay big, we did one, but it was for Cthulhu. And that people seemed to be amused by that. And then so I was kind of like thinking about other weird genres of comics, and I hit upon He-Man and the Masters of the Universe used to have little comics, and Superpowers, right, had their own little comics.
They had the little ones that came with the figure. Yep.
So I was like, what is the least likely thing you would have an action figure of? And I'd been reading Friedrich Nietzsche, as one does in their mid-20s, and that's just sort of how that happened.
It's funny you say that with strange action figures. I bought my daughter a Ben Franklin action figure a couple of years back, just because why was Ben Franklin an action figure? Yeah. So
did he have a comic? Call me.
No, he didn't. There you go. You could do American heroes as.
That's right. Well, we did Active Presidents for HarperCollins. Kids like that one. That's our middle grade series.
That's great. I'm a teacher in my other life, so
fantastic.
I appreciate when we get stuff that. I teach special ed, 4th and 5th grade.
Oh, fantastic! So is my sister.
And I love when we actually have a library in the classroom, and the library is filled with comic books too, just because it's my library too, and the kids love reading comic books. It's not something you can stop. So embrace it. And I think everyone should have it in their library, should have comic books and books like that, where if you put history and comics together, kids actually learn something while reading comic books.
I'm very happy as I feel like I'm the last generation that like bought comics off like the spinner rack, before in the drugstore in Chagrin Falls. But it's nice that I think I am the Gen X folks are the last generation to kind of be ashamed for reading comics as a kid.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. We talk about it all the time on the show that it was like nowadays you can go into a comic shop and you can bring comic books into school and you read them. When we were young, you hid that. You had your 2 or 3 friends who you read comic books with and you were like, you whispered it and you went to your local comic shop kind of like, hoping no one saw you. And now it's like
you were junkies or something.
Yes,
like
that's exactly
it. In
it.
the alley.
And you only talk to those people who got it.
Right.
So if you weren't on the inside, you didn't go and talk to anyone else about it because you most likely probably got made fun of it at some point.
Exactly. Oh yeah, definitely.
And now you can just, now it's everywhere. So it's, I guess that's a good thing now. Kids don't have to hide in back alleys and read comic books. They can just,
it's
go
true.
out.
I literally, at the Jack Kirby pop-up museum, the wonderful folks at the Jack Kirby Museum had a great pop-up the first week of December.
Yes.
In Tribeca called Ghetto to Cosmos. I don't know if you had a chance to.
We were going to, and then it just everything got crazy with the holidays.
I mean, they were in that space in Tribeca. It's called One Art Space. They did it a couple years ago when the Eternals movie came out. But we just did me and Ryan did a Jack Kirby bio comic that's free for all. You can get it off of Ryan's website. I need to put it on my website. But him and me and Paul Levitz, who wrote another history comic with DOE, we did a panel talk to a room full of teachers about how to teach comics and teach.
That's what should be happening.
History comics, and that was it was a development day for them.
Because we need something to keep their attention because they don't have attention spans anymore at all. It's a losing battle right now.
I read an interesting article in the New York Times about how the New York City has had some success with banning cell phones.
Most huge success.
Yeah. Do you teach in the New York City system?
I do. I teach. I'm on Staten Island, so I teach in the DOE school. And
nice. My sister teaches in Manhattan.
Okay.
If you know where that is, it's down by
what grade?
She actually has K through 5.
Okay. Yeah, it's been way more successful than we could ever have imagined.
That's fantastic.
They don't miss it. They actually are more relaxed that there's no phones to perform in front of, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's really interesting.
It's shockingly successful, and it's good for everyone involved. What and on talking to kids, what advice would you give an aspiring comic book writer?
I really only know one way to do it, which is to make your own comics. And, that means being really nice to an artist or learn to draw, one of the two things. So I was very lucky in that I had extremely talented artists willing to work on my ideas for free early on in my career in my late 20s and early 30s. And that's what got me to Marvel. And it's Marvel that let me get everything else, that I have built with, I guess. The other thing is that, I'm an odd duck. I do a lot of mainstream comics. I really, looking back at my career, I can't say I've done a lot of literal superhero comics, which if you narrowly define it as guys in masks beating up criminals, like I haven't done a lot of that. Like Hercules was like kind of sort of a superhero book, Dynamite. I mean, yes, there are people in masks for some reason, but mostly it's a horror adventure book, Peter Cannon is absolutely a superhero.
Absolutely.
But I also do a lot of nonfiction. I work in the direct market. However, I'm spending most of December working for books that are going to end up in the Barnes and Noble and directly in book market graphic novel projects. And then there's this interesting hybrid of the future which is this combination of kind of STEM meets comics. I think people get confused that it's an educational book, which it is not. It's just straight up science fiction adventure comic. Yeah. But they seem really happy with how it's coming out.
How do you change gears with that though? So you're writing a horror book, you're writing Peter Cannon, a superhero book, you're writing a kind of an adventure, sci-fi adventure book, and you have Action Philosophers, which is more like a history. How do you change gears doing all of that basically at the same time?
Just like it all, you know. I mean, on the one hand, I'm just really, I guess I really like the world,
Right.
and I liked
For
history.
sure. We've talked to a lot of creators, and most of them are into one. They're writing one thing, writing superhero books. We're getting a lot of horror writers now. You are all over the place. It's how do you lay out, work when you have so many deadlines with so many different comic books?
No, it's funny. I guess I never thought of it that way. Is that I've been the reason I'm so financially successful, or I've had any financial success that I have, is that because I'm so diverse.
Right.
Because I have multiple revenue streams and I'm multiple places multiple times, and for that matter, because I'm servicing multiple audiences, no one can really get sick of me.
That's a great point.
Because, but I'm not the horror guy or the crime guy or whatever, the kind of folks. And I get that, Ryan and I did a book called The Comic History of Comics. And one of the things we set out to do with that is sort of do a general comics history, because most comics histories you can find are about nerds who are only obsessed with one thing. Like one guy loves Batman. This guy likes Robert Crumb. No. This guy likes Vertigo. They only like this one, or, this one kind of, British comics. They're just it's siloed. It's all very siloed, which I think is easier for marketing, but we wanted sort of a general thing. And really the secret of it is it's great to be that kind of diverse, just because whenever you get sick of doing one thing, fear not, in a couple days you'll be doing something totally different. So getting sick of this now, no, something else, So really it's like it's almost like an isometric exercises, right? Where you're exercising different muscle groups.
Right. So it keeps you going. Not doing the different things keeps you interested and keeps you going, and that's a really good way to look at it.
Yeah.
So over the years, what has changed in the comic industry? You've been working for quite a while now. You've worked for many different companies.
Yeah.
What have you seen change over the last, few years?
It's interesting. You start to see we talked about kids not having to be afraid of reading comics anymore, but I do feel like the geekiness factor is starting to creep back in. Partly because a lot of folks, get all their media from like TikTok, and it's the old pivot to video, and so no one's reading anything, much less comics anymore. And then you start to see fears of a post-literate society, which I don't think I'll see in my life. I mean, look, I get by having a tiny audience, so I'm not. It doesn't really, the people like me already know where to find me. So I'm not really. I get worried about the people in their 20s. The young people who are just starting out. God knows what's going to happen to them. But human beings are a resilient and adaptable sort, so I'm sure they'll figure something out. Or at least
we've seen and we visit a lot of comic shops and go to a lot of conventions, and we've seen a shift recently away from monthlies. So we've a number of comic shops that opened recently around us, and you had a good one open in Brooklyn recently, New York Comics in Bay Ridge.
Oh, nice.
He doesn't sell monthlies; he only sells back issues, and it's like the fourth comic shop that we've been to that opened recently that really shies away from new comic books.
Right.
Which is not the model that comic shops were built on. It's completely the opposite of that. You're built on, you get people to come in with your monthly. So it's been very telling for us. And obviously there's a lot going on in the industry with Dynamite and what happened there. And they're losing money because of that. It's Diamond, right? Diamond. So I don't know. It's changing. The industry is changing.
Yeah.
Those old guys are still here.
My local comic shop, which is A1 Comics in Crown Heights, Demetrius, you rule.
Okay.
What they find, at least in their cohort, is a shift to manga.
Yes.
Like they do way better with manga than American comics.
Especially with younger kids. The kids are coming and buying that.
Well, exactly. And so I know Demetrius, who started out in Midtown Comics, he ran their they had a satellite store just up a couple blocks up from Grand Central.
Yep.
And
I was there many times.
Yeah, ditto. And so it's a little disappointing if you love the American comics format as much as we do, but you have to roll with the punches, and it's much more likely to get a kid who's into manga to read an American comic than you are to get someone who doesn't read anything to read
Right.
anything. So to read a manga or an American comic.
No, absolutely. Yeah, we see the
So
comic space is going more towards manga and towards games, the card games. Card games, a huge thing at comic shops now.
sure, yeah, Demetrius has rotating Magic
Yeah,
Gathering tournaments. But comic shops have always had multiple,
right. They evolve, and that's what
down
they're
to
doing.
like back when the head shops would sell bongs and comics,
Right,
like
right.
stuff, So that's been going on forever. And what's great is that it's become, and the other shift I would say, so for the future is we did a tour in May when the first issue, right before the first issue dropped. We started at Third Eye in Annapolis, Maryland, which is where Fort Meade is, which is where the NSA is.
I got to get to Third Eye one of these days. I've heard nothing but good things about that place.
Dude, I can't even, words will not do it justice.
Yeah.
I was this cynical comics writer was like,
yeah, I've heard that the place is fantastic.
Like I was in Santa's workshop, like I'd been transported to the North Pole, which is kind of amazing. And we went down, we basically drove a van from Annapolis to Orlando, Florida. And the main sort of commonality with all of those stores.
How many stores did you stop in?
6.
Okay.
We didn't do signings in every single one, but we stopped, and the commonality was that they're not just stores, right? They're also kind of community centers, they're like, they're like bars without booze.
We say it all the time on here. It's bars when you don't have to drink. You go in with people like-minded. You talk about the stuff you like to talk about. And
one place that we ended up in Blackbird outside, I believe it was called Winter Park, was the town. It's outside Orlando. They are literally a coffee shop. They're half coffee shop and comic book store. And people drinking coffee, reading comics. It was beautiful. So that is sort of the other, I think, saving grace of comics is because you foster that community. It's not something you can get through an e-reader or ordering stuff through Amazon or whatever and having delivered. Those aren't perfectly viable options. But
great point. Yeah. It's that community feel, and that's why I think Free Comic Day is a great thing. You bring people in and you talk, and it's we always say when we go to conventions, when there's a lot of kids there and teens, that's a good thing. That's what you want at your conventions.
Ryan and I did All Yeah in Harrison, New York for Free Comic Day, and they were just mobbed. I mean, he poor guy was sweating it because his register went down, which was brutal because we do everything by hand because it's one of their big, even though it's Free Comic Day, it's one of the biggest sales days of the year.
That which is such a good thing for the industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
So some other questions. What character would you like to write that you've never written?
It would be fun because I'm such a Kirby nut. I did most of Kirby's, if not all of Kirby's Marvel characters. He and I are the only people, as far as I know, to do an Eternals annual #1. So I'm very proud of him.
That's a good thing.
But it would be fun to do some of his DC characters. Like probably my favorite overall Kirby character is Hedrick, the Demon. So it'd be fun to do that.
And nothing's been done with him in a while.
Yep. That'd be fun. One of the great things about this job is like with Peter Cannon Thunderbolt. Like I sort of vaguely knew he was the basis for Ozymandias and Watchmen, and that's all I knew about him. But a lot of times what's very cool is that people will come to you with ideas. You're like, that's great. Like I had no idea. Like Power Man. Why not?
Why not? Right.
Sure.
So you would be open to doing some of his Fourth World stuff at DC.
Sure. I've often said DC's made a big mistake by not making the young Scott Free backup stories in Mr. Miracle its own series.
You're right. That series was great. We actually just had on Ram V was on. He's doing New Gods right now. He was on our show 2 weeks ago. And I'm a huge Kirby guy, so if someone's working on Kirby, I try to have them on the show just so I can pick their brain. It's like, how do you follow Jack Kirby and how do you keep his stories alive? And he's doing a great job. Series been great.
I mean, not to name drop, but I was at New York Comic Con for one day, and one of the people I got to catch up with a little bit was someone who's a huge Action Philosophers fan, which is always a great, very flattering. Is Tom King. and he's right now in the middle of the writer's room on the Mr. Miracle animated series.
Yeah, that comic series was fantastic.
Well, I would hope that with the series come out, we can have more, Mr. Miracle related material, and maybe I can get Tom to put in a good word for me. Maybe I can get
that would be good. But which character you would want if you were doing from the New Gods? Which character would you pull from the New Gods?
I would want to do a series about Scott Free and Barda in Granny Goodness's orphanage as kids on Apocalypse. That's what I would want to do. I would want a Barda and Scott, I guess, YA series. I don't know.
No, that's what I would love. I'm a huge Mr. Miracle fan. I kind of try to pay attention. He just popped up in DC vs. Vampires. He played a big role in that, and he's dead now, but he played a huge role in it before he was dead. So what do you have coming up?
Unfortunately, I have a bunch of secret stuff. I have NDAs.
Okay. I love and please do me a favor, don't talk about secret stuff, because we've had creators do that for, and then they call me back. You have to edit that. I'm going to get in so much trouble. So I appreciate when creators don't tell me.
Well, I can bring it up because it's a Dynamite book, and they already want us to do videos. But I guess this wasn't announced yet. But fuck it, I'm just going to announce. It doesn't matter because we're starting press for it. Greg Pak and I, my incredible Hercules buddy, we co-wrote a series about Gaston.
Really? So you're doing one of the Disney titles? Yeah,
it'll be one of the Disney villain lines, and the art for that is amazing. That's going to be announced soon. I think that's coming out in March.
That's because right now they're doing Maleficent is going on right now.
They did Maleficent, they did Scar from Lion King, and they did Cruella de Vil.
And so that's great. Good. You broke news.
That's right. I think I broke. I don't know. Like I said, this is Greg and I are supposed to do a video for it this week. So it's
okay. Well, this video won't air for about probably a month or so because I'm going to be gone for a while, so you won't get in trouble.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about another comic book you did, just because it happens to be one of my all-time favorite properties, and I'll tell you what we're doing with this property.
There you go.
I am a huge Big Trouble in Little China fan. So huge Big Trouble in Little China fan. We just had on the show James Pax, who played Lightning in the movie. Great. Okay. And we are going to be moderating a panel for the 40th anniversary, which as a lifetime fan, when that happens, and we got the call from James Pax, and I didn't believe it was him. Like, I'm like, come on, why are you messing with us? And now we're actually, moderating his panel, which is great. How did this series work for you? You took over in issue 13, if I remember correctly, or 12.
Yeah, Eric Powell did the first year, I did the second.
Yeah. So how does something like that work in terms of dealing with Carpenter, or are you sending stories back and forth, or is it just your ideas come out and that's how it comes out?
The only contact I had with John Carpenter was I learned after he turned around that I was waiting in line for the same urinal that he was using in the men's room at New York Comic Con. So I did not bring up my role as writer of the Big Trouble in Little China comic. I feel like it would have been inappropriate to accost someone in the men's room.
In the men's room and say, hey.
And I really had to go. So I was not going to stop for that. But I legit do not remember how I got that job. I mean, in those days, it was a little less common to be like the funny comics guy. So I assume that's why they tapped me.
You were the funny comics guy at that time.
Yeah, exactly, or one of them. And what's cool is I became really tight with Joe Eisma, who was my artist on that first arc, and one of my secret projects actually is a creator-owned book with him. It's coming out in the summer.
You're going to have to come back on again with all of these
oh my God.
secret things.
I got to work with Dan McDade. That Dan McDade was awesome. That was my favorite arc of that series. Sorry, Joe. Was the one where they go to Macau.
Yeah. I love this series. I thought the series was, and it's one of those properties where there's not enough out, in my opinion. I'm a huge fan. So when this came out, and then I mean they did a crossover later on, they did a whole bunch of things. I was really enjoying this. And now we may have a second movie, so maybe you'll come back on it again.
That's awesome.
Couple more questions. If Action Philosophers became a movie, who could you see in it?
That's a great question. Dave Bautista as Plato, right? Because wrestler, playing a wrestler. Also, he's a funny guy. I don't know if you're a Valiant fan, but I would have Dave Bautista play Armstrong in the Armor.
Yeah.
Armstrong.
Yeah, I know Armstrong in Armor.
That's in a good one. I'll just take ones from the first issue. We brought up Eternals earlier. Namjani. I'm blanking on the guy's name. The guy was in Eternals who played.
Yeah, Kim something Namjami.
Okay.
Right. That's it. Yeah.
Namjani.
Kumail Nanjiani.
That's a great Bodhi Dharma. Right. Put him in the Shang-Chi outfit. He's ripped now, so that's appropriate. And then who else was from the first issue? Oh, Nietzsche. Nietzsche. That's kind of an interesting one. Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken is way older than Nietzsche ever lived to be.
Can't go wrong with Christopher Walken.
German, I know he's Austrian, but Christoph Waltz, that guy's fucking hilarious.
He's great too. He's great in everything he's in.
If you saw him on Only Murders in the Building this season,
yes,
so funny.
Great to see him pop up too, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, so I only cast the first issue. Those are the three. Okay. So I'd say Christoph Waltz, Dave Bautista, and Kumail Nanjiani, whose name I'm sure I'm butchering. I apologize.
There you go. So
those three guys, I want them to play the first.
So when you break the news that it's option, you can pick who.
Exactly, that's right.
Who it is. What creator would you like to work with, past, present, if you had the chance to?
Well, here's another secret project. I'm currently working with Mike Deodato. It would have been my answer, but I didn't strike him off the list. He's a great guy and a brilliant artist. I'd love to work with. I did Athens Comic Con with him. Frank Whiteley, a great guy. Fantastic. I think he only works for his fellow. I don't think I'm Scottish, so Frank Whiteley by law is not allowed to work with me.
For you?
Mark Millard, Grant Morrison stuff. But maybe I'll be able to fake the accent well enough to get him
to work with you. Now, you have any conventions coming up scheduled? You have anything scheduled?
Sort of. I have a lot of maybes. I think the big one, I'm all but confirmed to go to C2B2 and in Chicago. And I'm probably going to be in Emerald City in Seattle.
Okay.
Beyond that, it's all pretty big.
Are you doing New York or you don't know yet?
Yeah, I always do. This year was the only year I missed it. And next year, I'm going to have to tell the guys, sorry. Yeah.
Well, you want. And
I'm not going to New York Comic Con.
You set up yourself or you set up with one of.
I'm an artist alley, yeah. I usually, Ryan, I was there for one day. I got back from Deadwood in time to do Sunday this year. So I just sat at Ryan's table. Yeah,
we were there Saturday, which is, not my favorite convention because it's too much, but it's a must do. Yes. Now, where can people find you online if they are so inclined?
Where I spend most of my time on social media these days is Blue Sky, where I'm Fred Van Lente, but I'm Fred Van Lente on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and all of the other ones.
So everything. So just look up Fred Van Lente and you will find whatever you need. Like, what about buying your self-published stuff? What's the best place to go for that?
I don't self-publish really anymore. Action Philosophers was picked up by Rocket Ship.
Okay. So
Comics is currently with IDW. The DOE stuff, I believe, I actually forgot. I think if you go to fredvanlente.com, no, not yet. I haven't put it up on the. Soon, I will put on I will put the Jack Kirby thing on the on my homepage. I'm actually gonna make a.
And that's hard. That's printed or that's digital.
So the DOE is current. So. Needless to say, it's the government made these comics, and so your tax dollars made them, so they're free, right? That's the whole idea. The challenge is if you're outside the New York City school system, they're hard to get.
But as a New York City school person, how can I get it for my classroom?
I don't know.
Okay, because I would love to have something like that.
Yeah, you can absolutely get them. I just don't know. Like my sister gets them, but it's not like she asked for them; they just showed up.
They show up there.
So I don't know. Are you social studies or English or anything like that? Like arts?
I teach all the subjects.
great. Then paradoxically, that is probably why you haven't gotten them yet.
Yeah.
I think technically they're for 6 through 8.
Oh yeah, I teach 4 and 5.
Yeah, but I know teachers have found them, so there's got to be a way for you.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that in my own thing.
If you want to send me an email, no, send me an email. I will hook you up with the DOE, the people at the DOE, and they will do it. So just send me an email separate from our podcast thread,
yes.
and I'll set you up.
I'll send. Yeah, I don't know how much I want them to know my name, but I will do that. The other thing is, what does it take for you to come to a convention?
A hotel room and a plane ticket.
What if it was right in your neighborhood?
A hotel room and then ask nicely.
we are hosting our first convention here on Staten Island. We do not have a good convention here on Staten Island. We have not for years. We have a couple of small ones, but it's not been well. We are doing what will amount to be probably the biggest one on Staten Island in a long, long, long time at a brewery, so flagship brewery here on Staten Island.
Oh, nice! Is that the one right by the ferry terminal?
Yes, it is. It's the one right by the ferry terminal.
Oh,
so you know it
from the ferry terminal,
right? And that's we're hosting, and we're going to be giving free beer, and it's in June.
Oh, very cool. I mean, because I'll have stuff. Ideally, to get me to come, the easiest way to get me to come is have a volunteer with a car.
We'll come get you. We will 100% have. Yeah. We'll 100% have someone come get you. We'll set you up at a table where
that'd be awesome.
We're giving creators that we know, free tables, and any other creators who want to come, they can pay a little bit of money.
Schedule pending.
It's free. It's the week before Father's Day. It's in a brewery. I don't know how else I could sell it. It's it's our first attempt. We're going very well right now. We're surprised at how well it's going. We've only been at it for about 2 weeks now, and we are already almost filled.
Oh wow, great! Yeah, I mean, put my name down before it's totally filled.
That would be wonderful. It'd be great to have you there. You'll be our headliner.
Oh, fantastic!
It would be nice to just well, listen. We have been talking about it, and even if nobody else shows up, we're putting a bunch of people in a room that we like. So we got people that we've had on the show, vendors that we've met along the way. It's a bunch of people we really like, and
fantastic.
We don't think we can fail then.
If you're having a good time, you've succeeded.
That's exactly how we feel. That we're going to have a good time. That's it's comic books and beer. How bad could it possibly be?
Exactly.
So you have to come back on when you're allowed to.
Yes,
reveal the number of a number of secret projects you have going on. So you kept
4
secret projects.
So as many actual projects.
As many as you're working on right now. You have 4 more coming up.
Yeah, exactly.
But thank you so much for taking the time to come on with us. I will reach out, and we will see you soon, hopefully at a convention.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Happy holidays.
Yes. Enjoy your holidays.